Jai Shri Ram. Prashnottara Ratnamalika, the fifth question. Kim samsare saram? Samsare kim saram? What is the essence of material life? And the answer given by Adi Shankaracharya, Bahushopi chintyamanam idameva. Bahushopi chintyamanam idameva. This is something on which we must meditate many times. See, the word samsara is not easy to understand. Samsara actually refers to the stream of all selfish desires and attachment, passions and karmic bondage, and an impure, immature state of mind. Very callow, puerile, infantile, sophomoric, amateurish, impure state of mind, which is beset by all arishad vargas. And the continuous cycle or rigmarole of reincarnation as opposed to moksha. So this is samsara. Samsara means, I told you 4 points now. The stream of selfish desires and attachment, passions and karmic bondage, arishad vargas, impure state of mind, again due to arishad vargas, and the rigmarole of reincarnation. So samsara is not easy to understand. It is actually, understanding this is the very foundation of the doctrine of moksha. So when you talk about liberation, the first question is liberation from what? Remember, every living being aspires for happiness. So please don't eat meat, the chicken, the goat. Everyone wants to live and you are killing. So please don't do that. Don't accumulate papam. Every living being aspires for happiness, knowledge, and immortal life. But on the material platform, we are constantly baffled, confused, discombobulated, flummoxed. In this search for happiness, we encounter suffering, ignorance, impermanence of our own body and everything else around us. So, in the quest for happiness, we are actually constantly being bombarded by unhappiness and suffering. Naturally, this causes a deep frustration, similar to the feelings of a prisoner who would like to do many things and to find happiness but is constantly frustrated and restrained and prevented. So the Vedas teach that the root of all such frustration is the illusion of duality, the mistaken identification with the material body and the objects. So as long as our identification is with the body and the objects of our attachments, then the suffering will increase, ignorance will increase, and this impermanence of everything will cause pain, trauma. So, due to this attachment to what is temporary, the Baddha Jivi, the conditioned soul, is constantly running after the mirage of material happiness. That is why the Veda says, Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita, enjoy with detachment. So, this mirage, if you go on chasing, at the end of the time allotted in this material body, he will be forced to take a new birth to continue this mad race. So this cycle of births and death is called samsara, the wheel of material life. So it is like the shackles that keep a prisoner bound when he is being dragged from cell to cell. How to break free from this cycle of repeated birth and death? If we do not make an attempt to understand this very deeply and clearly, the essence or cause of our imprisonment, why are we imprisoned here? Without this knowledge, it is impossible to attain liberation. So the key to open our fetters, our shackles, bedilu, is by acquiring knowledge. And this requires constant and repeated meditation. By meditating, mulling over again and again, we will constantly remember the goal of our work toward liberation, and at the same time we'll be able to understand better and better the meaning of Adhyatmika Jnana. In fact, knowledge grows on the roots of previous knowledge, and it increases in scope and rises, and in this process we become able to see and understand all the different explanations, theories on the same issue, and finally we will acquire that epiphany necessary to be totally free. So to be totally free, What should you do? Tena tyaktena bunjida. Enjoy with detachment. You own nothing here. Ishavashamidam sarvam yatkinchit jagatyan jagattena tyaktena bunjida ma gridha kasyasvidhanam. Go with the flow. Let go and enjoy. Treat it like a joyride. It is a roller coaster, but don't worry. Eh? That is why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9.3 Ashraddhadana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Mrityu Sansara Vartmani. You see, those who do not have faith, Shraddha, in the words of the Vedas, which are again encapsulated in the Gita, and who does not live by dharma, he will come back. Nivartante Mrityu Sansara Vartmani. He has to be born again. So be careful, study Gita, and realize that our job is to serve Krishna. Become a prapanna, totally dedicated to Krishna. And so once you become Krishna's agent, then Krishna becomes your ex-promiser. That means he will free you of all the debts. He will take care. That's why he says, he gives you the assurance in 1866. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. So Adi Shankaracharya asked the question, samsare kim saram? And the answer he gave is, bahushopi chintyamanam idameva. You have to meditate on this repeatedly. And Adi Shankara actually gave the example of the growth of a tree. See, when you sow a seed, the tree will grow, and then flowers will be the first thing that you will see. The flowers will then become a fruit, but then the fruit will not be sweet straight away. There will be bitterness, sourness, and after a certain time, the fruit will become mellow and sweet. So when we acquire all the knowledge necessary for moksha, then we will be like that mellow fruit, and we will be able to detach ourselves from the tree painlessly. If you snap off a raw fruit, then there is a lot of sap. The tree literally cries, and the fruit will also be bitter and sharp and not tasty, no sweetness at all. So this is the analogy Adi Shankaracharya is using. So all that happens in your life is useful. Everything, all the pain, suffering, trauma, backstabbing, treachery, frustration, failures, even successes, everything contributes to the growth of that fruit of spiritual knowledge. So once that is fully ripe, then moksha is natural. You will become a Jivan Mukta. So you have to meditate and ask yourself, why was I born? Why must I be angry, jealous, Arishadvarga, Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya? Why should I suffer from all these things? Why can't I be blissful? Why can't I be blissful? Why am I not blissful? If you go on mulling over these questions, slowly, like the flower that becomes the fruit, and the fruit takes some time to ripen into a mellow fruit, and then your life will be full of sweetness. There will be no hatred for anybody. But if you are, let us say, an administrator or a king, when Dandaniti has to be used, you will do it without any qualms. Like Yudhishthira, on the 18th day of the war, Yudhishthira killed Shalya. Krishna did not ask Arjuna to kill Shalya because Arjuna still had a trace of anger and all that. Yudhishthira was also known as what do you call Ajata Shatru. Ajata Shatru. That means he is no one's Shatru. He does not harbor any ill will, malice, enmity towards anybody, even though the person may have hurt him. So, Shalya, the maternal uncle of Pandavas who defected, in fact, he was trapped by Duryodhana. Though he came to fight for the Pandavas, he ended up fighting on the wrong side. And so, Shalya was a very, very powerful warrior, and he had a boon that if anybody opposes him, faces him in battle, and if that person happens to hate him, has a strong negative feeling for this man, then all his powers, or at least half his powers, will get transferred to him. So this is a dangerous boon he was enjoying, as a result of which he was invincible, invictus, unconquerable. So Krishna, Arjuna was keen. He said, I will finish Shalya. Krishna said, please take it easy. You don't know the situation. So Krishna tells Yudhishthira to take up the fight with Shalya. And Yudhishthira is a master in the use of the spear. Yeah? So he kills Shalya. Nobody else would have been able to kill Shalya. So that is when you reach that stage of spiritual perfection where you are suffused with dharma, and dharma is sweetness. Those who are full of dharma are full of sweetness. They are so mellow. So this small discussion we started with the question from the book Prashnottara Ratnamalika, written by Adi Shankaracharya, in which he is asking the question and proposing the answer. The question was, samsare kim saram? Samsare kim saram? The answer is, bahushopi chintyamanam idameva. Repeatedly meditate on this, then you will get the answer. Samsare kim saram? Bahushopi chintyamanam idameva. Jai Shri Ram.